She cheated on me while I was planning our future together. While I was dreaming of the life we could build, she was sneaking around with a guy from work. When I found out, I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just disappeared. My name is Jason. I'm 29, and I was with Mia for over 4 years. We lived together, shared everything, and I truly believed she was the one. Our lives were intertwined, friends, routines, future plans, everything. But a few months ago, things started to feel off. Mia began working late more often. Her phone was always placed face down. She laughed at texts she wouldn't share. And whenever I asked about it, she got defensive, accusing me of not trusting her. I let it go, at least, for a while. Then one evening, everything changed. She had left her email open on our shared laptop. I wasn't snooping, I was just checking something. That's when I saw them, a string of flirty emails with a man named Ryan, her new coworker. Hotel bookings. Details about nights she had told me were girls' dinners. Pictures. Proof. My chest felt like it was caving in. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just closed the laptop and sat there for hours, numb. That's when the plan came to me, not revenge, just escape. I waited. I watched. And when she went to visit her family one Saturday, I acted. I packed everything that was mine: her clothes, watch, laptop, toiletries. I left the things we'd bought together. I didn't want the memories. I didn't want to fight. I blocked her from everything: phone, social media, without leaving a note or explanation. Just silence. Later, I heard from mutual friends what happened next. She came home to find the apartment half empty, my side of the closet bare, the bathroom cabinet holding only her things. She tried calling me, dozens of missed calls, endless texts that never went through. She even called my parents. My mom simply told her, "Jason's okay, but he doesn't want to talk." For days, I stayed quiet. I stayed gone. Then Erica, one of Mia's close friends, messaged me, "Are you okay?" Mia's freaking out. I told her I was fine, and that I knew about Ryan. She never replied. It turned out Mia had been telling people she had no idea why I left. She was crying, panicking, playing the victim, saying she was scared and heartbroken. But I wasn't about to let her rewrite the story. Quietly, I sent screenshots to a few close friends. Not out of spite, but because they deserved to know why I left without warning. Soon, people began drifting away from her, one by one. The messages stopped. Friends dropped off. Even Ryan, the guy she'd cheated with, started avoiding her. He couldn't handle the drama. Apparently, she tried changing the story again, claiming we'd been falling apart for a while, that I was distant, that she felt alone, that I was too focused on work. But those who truly knew us knew better. They remembered how I treated her, how I never let a day pass without telling her I loved her, how I supported her, planned trips, made time no matter how busy I got. I didn't disappear because of a mistake. I disappeared because she broke my trust. And once that's gone, what's left? Now, she's alone. I've heard from a friend that she can't sleep, that she's having panic attacks, that she can't eat. And she keeps asking people the same question over and over. Why would he leave like that, without a word? The real question was never why I left. It was why she threw away everything, for a few months of secret flirting. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want her to suffer. I just wanted distance. I wanted peace. And silence was my answer. Mia had been waiting for a fight, for an explanation, for some kind of dramatic breakup. But I gave her nothing. Because some betrayals don't deserve closure, they deserve distance. It had been almost 2 months since I left. No contact. No messages. No drama. I had moved into a small apartment across the city, a quiet place with no shared memories. Just space to breathe again. I wasn't broken anymore. I wasn't angry. I was just done. But Mia? She was still trying to find me. Friends told me she was asking around, sending long texts to anyone who would still reply, "Where is Jason? Is he okay? Why won't he talk to me?" She still didn't get it. Then, one day, everything changed. It started with a photo. A mutual friend had posted a group picture on their Instagram story, just a casual moment, people laughing and holding coffee cups at my favorite cafe. But there I was, in the background. The next morning, at 8:30 a.m., I was at my usual table, laptop open, coffee in hand. That's when I felt it, a shadow falling over me. I looked up. It was her. Mia. Her hair perfectly curled, makeup flawless, dressed like she was heading to a job interview. Her eyes were wide, like she couldn't believe I was real. "Jason," she said, her voice trembling. Just my name, no hello, no apology, just shock. "You just left," she whispered. No warning, no goodbye. A few people in the cafe glanced over. I didn't want a scene. "Sit," I said quietly. She slid into the seat across from me, still staring. "For years," her voice broke, "and you vanished like I meant nothing." I kept my voice calm. "You know why I left, Mia?" She shook her head, lips trembling. "You could have talked to me." "Let me explain." "Explain what?" I asked, keeping my tone even. "How you were sleeping with Ryan while I was planning our next vacation. Or was it just about feeling alive again?" Her eyes filled with tears. "It wasn't like that. You were always working. We were growing apart." I held up my hand. "Stop. We're not doing this. I'm not here to listen to you rewrite history to make yourself feel better." She looked hurt, but I wasn't going to play her game. "Then why did you ask Erica to check on me?" she demanded. "Why do you care if I'm okay?" "Because I'm not cruel," I said simply. "I didn't want you spiraling. But that doesn't mean I owe you a second chance." I stayed calm. "I don't owe you anything. You ended it the moment you chose to cheat. I just made it final." A few weeks passed after that coffee shop encounter. I thought that was the end of it. Mia stopped reaching out. Friends stopped mentioning her. Life was quiet again. I focused on work, my fitness, my peace. Then one night, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Hi Jason, this is Emma. We need to talk." I stared at it for a long time. Emma. Mia's new name? No. Wait. Then I remembered Emma was Ryan's ex-girlfriend. Or so I thought. But no, that wasn't it. I read the message again, and my stomach turned. Emma was Mia's ex-friend. Someone. I hadn't spoken to her in years, so why was she texting me now? I replied cautiously, "What's this about?" Her answer came quickly, "It's about Mia. Tomorrow, 3 p.m., Riverwalk Cafe. Please come alone." I didn't know what to expect, but curiosity got the better of me. The next day, I arrived early and chose a quiet corner table. At exactly 3 o'clock, she walked in, taller than I'd imagined, confident, no engagement ring. Her eyes scanned the room until they landed on me. She approached and sat down. "Jason," she asked softly. "Yeah, you're Emma." She nodded. "Thanks for coming. I know this is strange." "It is," I admitted. "Why are we here?" Emma took a deep breath. "I'm not here for Mia, and I didn't come on her behalf. She doesn't know I contacted you." "Then what do you want?" I needed to see the man she talks about all the time. That caught me off guard. "She talks about me?" Emma looked me straight in the eyes. "Even after everything, you still haunt her. She's still stuck on you, on what happened." I stayed silent. I'm not defending her, she went on, but I've seen her fall apart in ways I didn't think possible. I leaned back. She told me about the affair, Emma continued. About how you found out and disappeared. She didn't expect that. She thought you'd be angry, maybe cry, maybe forgive her. I sighed. Then she never really knew me. Emma gave a sad smile. That's exactly what I came here to say. She leaned in, her tone serious. Jason, did you ever tell her how much trust meant to you? About your past? Your boundaries? I paused. She knew enough. I told her my parents' marriage fell apart because of cheating and lies. I told her I don't believe in fixing broken trust. Emma nodded. But she thought love would override that. She thought you'd fight for her. She made her choice, I said quietly. And I made mine. I get that, Emma said, but I also came for a reason. She needs to let go of this fantasy she's still holding on to. And I think you do too. What fantasy? That there's still something unfinished between you two, that if the timing were right, or the words were perfect, maybe things could go back. I stayed quiet because, honestly, some small hidden part of me had wondered if I could have done something differently. Emma went on. I think you're still carrying the weight of her mistake, still wondering if disappearing was the right thing. It was, I said, though my voice wasn't as firm as I wanted. She told me you were kind, thoughtful, loyal to the end, and you were. She betrayed that. But the way you left, it left her in shock. Shock isn't the same as regret, I said. True, Emma replied, standing up. But healing won't come from punishing her forever, or punishing yourself either. She paused, then added, I'm not here to get you two back together. I actually came to thank you. I blinked. For what? For showing me what someone who truly respects love looks like. Mia didn't value what she had, but watching her lose it taught me what I deserve, too. She turned to leave, then stopped and looked back. I hope you find peace, Jason. Real peace, not just silence. And I hope that someday, when you're ready, you love again, properly. She walked away. I sat there for a long time, thinking. She was right, I had left to protect my peace, but somewhere in that silence, I had trapped myself in the past. Maybe it was time to truly move forward. 2 months later, I thought it was finally over, until my phone buzzed. It was a group message from Isla, one of our old mutual friends. The message contained details about a rooftop engagement party, a private celebration downtown. Then I saw the names, and they hit me like a wave, Mia and Lucas. Lucas. I stared at the screen. Mia was getting engaged already? I scrolled through the chat, trying to figure out if the message was even meant for me. Then it clicked, it was probably a mistake. I was still saved in some group from years ago, and Isla had likely forgotten to remove me. I should have ignored it. But I didn't. I kept staring at that message all day, my thoughts spiraling. Who was Lucas? How long had they been together? Had she really moved on? By midnight, I made a decision. I was going to that party. Not to cause a scene, at least that's what I told myself. I just needed to see her, to know if I still felt anything. So I got ready. New shirt. Clean shave. I looked sharp, but I felt strange, nervous, not because I still loved her, but because I wasn't sure if part of me still hated her. I arrived fashionably late, around 8:30 p.m. The rooftop was full of people, fairy lights strung above, music drifting through the warm night air. I walked up to the hostess and said confidently, Jason Cole. I'm here for the engagement party. She checked her tablet. I'm sorry, you're not on the list. Of course I wasn't. Then I heard a familiar voice. Jason? What are you doing here? It was Isla, champagne in hand, her face draining of color. I got the invite, I said, holding out my phone with the group message. Her smile faded. That was a mistake. You weren't supposed to receive that. People had begun to notice. Heads were turning. And then, through the crowd, I saw her, Mia. She stood beside a man in a navy suit, Lucas, I assumed. They were laughing with friends until her eyes met mine. Her smile froze and vanished. Lucas noticed too. Without saying a word, he placed a gentle, protective hand on her back. She looked shocked and then something I didn't expect, ashamed. The hostess was already speaking into her radio. Security to the rooftop. I heard her whisper. Isla grabbed my arm. Jason, please, this isn't the place. She's finally moved on. I nodded. I'm leaving. Before I walked away, I glanced one last time at Mia. She was surrounded by people, happy ones. Lucas leaned down and whispered something in her ear. She nodded slowly. They looked solid. Comfortable. Real. As I turned, I said to Isla, tell her congratulations. Tell her I hope she's truly happy this time. Isla's expression softened. She's not the same girl, Jason. I'm not the same guy either, I replied. Security followed me to the elevator. I wasn't thrown out, but I felt like a ghost. In the cab ride home, I stared out the window. That was it, not closure through words, not a second chance, just the realization, with my own eyes, that she was truly gone. Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. Whatever connection we once had was gone. That night, I got one more message. It was from Emma. You heard she's engaged? Yeah. I replied. How do you feel? I waited a long time before answering. Free. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't jealous. I wasn't even sad. I felt free, like I had let go of a heavy bag I didn't even realize I'd been carrying. Mia's betrayal had hurt me once, but I had allowed it to define me for far too long. It was time to stop looking back. I called my sister the next morning. I think I'm ready, I told her. For what? She asked. To really talk. To move on. She paused for a moment, then said the words I didn't know I needed to hear. Come over. I've been waiting to hear that. So I did. That day, something shifted. I began to heal, not by finding someone new, but by forgiving myself for letting her live rent-free in my mind for so long. We all make choices. Mia made hers. I made mine. And now, I'm choosing peace. Not silence. Not revenge. Not regret. Just peace.